Good morning and warm welcome to all. I hope everyone is doing fine in these tough times. Anyways, we have the pleasure of having Dr. B.R. Jagdish. Sir is an associate professor of soil science, College of Agriculture, Hanumanki, Haveri. And the topic chosen for deliberation is challenges in soil health management in modern practices for sustainable production. Sir, you are audible as well as visible, and your presentation is also visible. Please start.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Mazi. We will start the session. This is 21 days winter school on modern practices of plant and animal nutrition for sustainable agriculture production and also intensive livestock development, right? So, organized by NADPL. First of all, I want to thank the course director and all the organizing team of this 21 days winter school for providing this wonderful opportunity to share my few research highlights and also issues related to soil, soil health, and its management aspect, and further more information. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So we will start the session. The title of the topic is challenge and its overcome or management methods, especially with relation to sustainable production or sustainability in agriculture. So with this background, first of all, we will see what is soil health. First of all, soil is a living entity, as all of us know. Just like our plants, vegetation, soil is also a living entity. It is having some response towards the changes in the climate or atmosphere or for human interference, animal interference, what all. So soil health is a component in production. Soil health makes difference in fertility and productivity of agriculture produce. Its capacity to maintain the quality and produce in the ecosystem. So since it is one of the important natural resources, it undergoes so many vulnerable changes due to the continuous dynamic nature. Okay, so it supports life. It gives anchorage for plant. It gives food for microorganisms. It provides ambience for biodiversity. It is our duty to protect our mother earth, our soil, and we have to keep this soil alive. And also, we should protect the soil biodiversity. So, with this concern, we will look into the challenges and issues with relation to soil health. So, soil health and soil production or productivity or soil fertility is different. Actually, soil health, of course, it is a important factor for production, but soil fertility is again a different issue. We have one saying goes like this: all fertile soils may not be productive, but all productive soils must be fertile to perform the yield potentiality. Okay, sorry. All of you better to mute your microphones so that there won't be any disturbances. Speaking, anyway, you can ask question in the middle also, but it is better to reserve your all questions at the end of the session. That will be fine. Okay. So soil as a component, soil as a component. If fertility is doing something with production, of course, productive soils must be fertile, but there is no hard and fast rule that all fertile soils should be productive. They may not be productive. Why? Because we have many management aspects in agriculture production. One of the management aspect is soil fertility management. As we know, soil contains four important components. Excuse me, better mute the microphone. Participants, please. Okay. There are four important components. Why I am telling is, all of us know plants are living, animals are living, but soil is also a living component. It has 25% air, which is liable for exchange, and 25% water, which is most important for transfer of nutrients, 45% mineral matter, 45% mineral solid portion, and 5% is organic matter. Okay, 50% is solid, remaining 50% again it is air and water, right? Yeah. But out of solid 50%, we have 5% organic matter, which is the key factor, which is an important component which decides the soil health. That I wanted to say. So there are so many factors helps in soil fertility and productivity. One of the important factor is mineralization and nutrient transformation. All of us know there are 17 essential nutrients required for growth and development of plant to perform its fullest potential yield performance. Fullest potential yield we will obtain when there is availability of all these essential elements, right? So if any one essential element is lacking or deficit, certainly it makes difference in production or productivity. So production and productivity, they go hand in hand, but they are the function of soil fertility. Fertility is the factor which decides the production or productivity. So we have nutrients like carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, which are structural elements which are available in nature, which are naturally available. Okay, and NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, which is major nutrients, primary nutrients. Calcium, magnesium, sulfur, and silicon, secondary nutrients, they are also very much equally important like primary elements. And furthermore, micronutrients like zinc, copper, manganese, boron, molybdenum, nickel, and even chlorine and sodium also. Okay. So there are several experiments, several experiments since from long term going on, still they are continuing. Permanent manurial schedules which say significant increase in yields by application of even micronutrients also. So micronutrients, even though they are required in small quantity, but the impact is big. See, the deficiency and sufficiency. When soil is deficit in nutrients, definitely show response. That's why I told soil is living entity. When we add fertilizer, when we give nutrient, definitely soil responds to the added nutrient, added fertilizer. That deficiency will be overcome by providing the actual dose and actual nutrient. It can be replaced. But when there is adequate zone of this nutrient, both in plant and soil, then only we can get full yield, 100% yield. If it is imbalanced, if we are adding excess, if we are using fertilizers indiscriminately, indiscriminate use of fertilizers is really toxic to plant and also soil. So this is a Shannogan's curve, parabolic curve, where we can clearly see the zone of adequate deficiency and toxicity. So we have to concentrate on critical zone and we have to apply nutrient in 3 R's: right source, at right time, in right method, at right place. These 4 R's we should remember when taking care of nutrients. So earlier there were only few nutrient deficiency was there, but when time advances, by this time we are almost 10 to 12 nutrients deficit in various parts of the country. So that's what we have listed. So many districts of our country are low in more than 5 to 10 nutrient elements. See, what happens when we entered into green revolution? So green revolution, of course, increased production, yield. Remarkable changes happened. Of course, there is wonders happened in the field of agriculture and allied industries. But over a period of time, we observed stagnation in yields, and also we observe adverse effects of indiscriminate use of chemicals. It's damn sure. So over the period, yields were stabilized, stagnated, remained same. So it clearly indicates we have continuously performing permanent manure schedules, long-term fertilizer experiments. Conclusion is continuous application of fertilizer, continuous application of chemicals. Definitely do something adverse effect on soil health, soil nutrient status, soil fertility status. See, excessive use of fertilizers. It is contributing environmental issues, not only soil health, environmental issues. So we have already crossed 200 million metric tons. We have already crossed. So impact of this, of course, there is an incremental increase in yield. That is sure, but the adverse effect, side effect of this is again a huge impact on environmental issues and the soil health. See, we are matching here the nutrient consumption, nutrient removal, but gap is enormous. Of course, we are getting food grain production with the linear increasing curve that we are observing, but we have to concentrate on the nutrient gap which is happening between removal and addition. In earlier slide, I showed you 45% is mineral component which exists in dynamic equilibrium, but The driver is, guardian rider is organic matter or organic carbon, which is very, very minimum, that is present as 5% only. That we have to take care. Soil health in general sense, if we talk in general issues, there are n number, but in particular to agriculture production, so we have to safeguard the natural resources like air, water, lithosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere. Of course, it takes to the other world, but due to modern agriculture, intensive farming practices, no doubt we have self-sufficient in our food grain production, but the other part of it is accumulation of heavy metals, lack of microbial biomass carbon, lack of indigenous nutrients, lack of local genotypes of microbes as well as plants. Of course, there is a risk in reducing the soil health issues. We should balance the nutrients and also hydrology, water component, temperature, humidity, everything we should balance, then only soil life will be perfect. Soil biodiversity will be perfect. Once soil biodiversity is perfect, the nutrient supply chain will be perfect for perfect production without environmental hazard, without pest and disease breakups, without soil-borne, airborne, waterborne pathogens. So once if you balance the soil biodiversity, the soil health issues can be resolved. See, there are n number of soil health issues. First and foremost is the degradation of our fertile land. The top soil up to half a feet, 15 centimeter, is always healthy and lively and live soil. The top soil is live soil. Land degradation carries away the fertile land through so many factors like erosion, problematic soils like salinity, alkalinity, acidity. If you work out for this, there will be around 5.3 million ton of soil loss per annum. That's to top fertile soil. Along with soil, we will lose 8 million tons of different nutrients. So this leads to serious decrease in cropping. Serious decrease cropping. So other related issues, if you see, organic carbon plays a key role. Organic carbon is the life of soil. To be frank, to be denied, carbon is the life of soil. Why? Because carbon is the sink for energy. Even though, of course, source and sink. It is the reservoir. It is the reservoir of energy which comes from various inputs. One of the most important source of energy is sun. Most important source of energy in the world, in the universe, is sun. So the energy gets transformed from sun to soil, and it is preserved, buffered in organic carbon, which is present in soil, but it is only 5%. That matters much. That matters much. So due to lack of soil organic carbon, there will be n number of problems arises, which are very much related to physical parameters of soil, followed by chemical parameters, followed by biological parameters. Later in next few slides, we will discuss the physical, chemical, and biological parameters which favors healthy soil. So over these periods, we are adding fertilizer in ton, in quintal, but response is very poor. Poor response is nothing but very, very less use efficiency of fertilizer, imbalanced fertilizer use. Use efficiency is very, very less. Response to the added fertilizer is very less. So one more issue in the modern agriculture is burning of crop residues, sugarcane thrash, maize stubbles, paddy husk, paddy straw. Huge loss of nutrients, huge loss of organic carbon. Not only soil issue, we have to face the climatic change which is happening nowadays because of intensive cultivation or intensive farming, which directly influences soil biodiversity, fertility, soil conservation aspects, deforestation, and other soil health related issues. We have to tackle these problems, of course. We should tackle all these problems for a healthy soil and healthy life, of course, with due respect for environmental issues, because they are all God gift, natural resources which are God gift. We have to preserve and we have to update, have to enrich and produce, put forth before our next generation. So we have to give a fertile and unpolluted and safe agriculture land to our next generation. With due respect for that, we should cope up the issues with good facilities, like should increase the soil testing laboratories. Now we have these soil testing laboratories in only KVKs, Farm Science Centers, and in some district place where State Department of Agriculture is running the soil testing laboratories. We should strengthen this up to Hobli level or up to village level. At least we can create some awareness about soil health and organic carbon and nutrient status. Then only we can easily tackle these issues. So we can undergo so many interventions for managing the soil health issues, problems related to soil. The basic tool is technology. We should tackle these issues by adopting very good technology in finding out the real and actual site-specific problems at field level. A diversification of these field level issues in terms of soil health manager kit. This could be achieved with capacity building programs and soil health awareness programs and institutional programs. N number of programs we can plan, conduct and deliver from the grassroots level. Then only we can cope up with the issue. So we have to tackle three important components to stay healthy. The three important components are physical, chemical and biological issues. If we take care of physical, chemical and biological parameters of soils, by default, soil health will be taken care. Once the soil health is managed due to its biodiversity, due to its strength, the soil health can certainly tackle the issues of pest, disease and produce. So, with respect to physical properties, we should maintain optimum aeration, optimum temperature, optimum moisture, and we should conserve the soil aggregates, soil particulates, soil separates in good condition, that is in aggregated condition. So we should stabilize, we should strengthen the soil aggregates. So soil aggregates definitely take care of the soil structure. Once, if physically soil structure is good, if physically soil structure is good, it will take care of aeration, water holding capacity, infiltration, percolation, nutrient transformation. Everything will be taken care by soil good physical structure. Soil good physical structure. Coming to chemical properties, pH is the one good indicator of healthy soil. Almost all the nutrients will be available for plant uptake between slightly acidic pH to neutral pH. Very slightly acidic. Why acidic means? There are so many metallic cations which get solubilized, ionized, and available to plant at that particular pH. But in general, neutral pH between 6.5 to 7.5 pH is the optimum pH, which influences availability and uptake of plant nutrients. Right. Apart from that, biological properties are driven or managed by microbial biomass carbon or organic carbon or through n number of microorganisms. I am talking about beneficial microorganisms, not pathogens. Of course, pathogens are there in the soil, but please bear it in your mind, pathogen activity will be high when there is damage in soil structure, when there is waterlogged, when there is high moisture, when there is high humidity, then only this pathogen activity will be high. Otherwise, if it is optimum moisture, if it is optimum temperature, if it is optimum aeration, there won't be dominance of pathogen, but there will be dominance of beneficial microorganisms like nitrobacter, fungi, trichoderma, etc. These habitat in nice niche with optimum and good soil structure. This is good structure. Good structure is proper arrangement of sand, silt, and clay. Arrangement. It should nicely arrange in such a way there should be more number of micropores and less number of macropores, because micropores hold water and nutrients, whereas macropores allow the water and nutrient to leach down, flow down. Hence, the structure should be well aggregated, well arranged in such a way that there should be more number of micropores and less number of macropores. This is possible when there is a good amount of organic carbon and good number of microorganisms. Microorganisms and organic matter decomposition favors good aggregation. So this good aggregation favors good soil structure, which in turn decides the soil health. There are n number of parameters which judges the soil health. One important parameter is CL ratio, or microbial activity, or enzyme activity, or root respiration, or soil respiration. So we should talk we should talk with the soil. बात करना चाहिए, मिट्टी से बात करना चाहिए. कैसे बात कर सकते हैं? मिट्टी की बात है, बात करना चाहिए. So once we have good relationship, there will be sense of humor, not sense of humor, sense of humor. So humor is the driving force in deciding the organic carbon content and CN ratio, which again influences the nutrient availability. C. The activity of microorganisms and soil resilience will be self-maintained. Excuse me. Please mute your microphone. So this is how we can balance and we can buffer the soil health by managing crop inputs, water, air, and the interferences of man and animals. Equipment use, better go for light equipment in tilling the land, in intercultivation, in weeding, in all possible way. Better put lower pressure on the land, soil, add more and more organic sources of carbon. Definitely soil health influences the human health and also animal health. Soil quality and soil quality parameters. Soil quality and soil quality parameters should be managed well. Otherwise, the condition of soil health definitely influences on the human health. It is the benchmark of balancing the soil physical, chemical, and biological condition with its organic carbon level. Make use of the sunlight, atmospheric gases, and rainwater, and soil becomes fit and fine for crop production. How exactly the farmer or human can interfere with soil health challenges, soil health issues? So management aspect, especially with reference to agronomic practices, crop cultivation practices, makes the difference. Of course, we have very good varieties, hybrids, good technology. There are so many scientific technologies available to improve the crop production yield. But for improving soil health and soil fertility, the only tool is organic carbon. Only tool is organic carbon. So that's why for crop production, first and foremost thing we recommend is addition of organic manures, 5 tons per acre or 10 tons, 12 tons per hectare, well before sowing, well before transplanting, well before crop production. It is general thumb rule. By default, we have to apply organic manure, not in kg, not in quintal, only in ton, only in ton, so that it gets mixed well in the soil particle, between the soil particle. It should create an ambient atmosphere for perpetuation and multiplication of microorganisms. The microbial population, microbial load should increase, which definitely makes the soil aggregate stability or formation of stable aggregates. These stable aggregates will carry the soil physical condition along with its nutrient supply. Once the nutrient supply and climatic factors with respect to temperature and rainfall favors, make it sure there will be 100% crop production. So this crop produce, we should look in the direction of quality and also quantity. Earlier it was only quantity, but it should go hand in hand with quality also nowadays because of nutritional security. So this produce not only fetches a good production, but with respect to nutrition, nutritive value of the produce also should be taken care, which certainly take care of our health and also our livestock population, bovine population. So this is how we can balance the issues of soil health in terms of physical, chemical and biological. See, physically we can reduce the burden on soil by very less disturbance to the soil, very less disturbance to the soil. Go for very light vehicle, light tilling, totally like conservation of soil or land. Patience is one of the important factors. Don't go for crop rotation, mixed cropping. See that the land is covered with one or the other vegetation so that we can maintain the crop diversity. The crop diversity and also animal diversity, integrated livestock management with grazing, herding of sheep, goat, whatever, definitely influences the biodiversity in soil. So this fetches us sustainable productivity. The sustainable productivity is because of these activities which favors physical, chemical and biological properties of the soil. Very simple, which I can explain with this simple diagram. We have everything in the nature. All the nutrients are present in atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere. And we have crop diversity in terms of legumes, pulses, cereals, C3, C4 plants, All kind of plants we have, trees, bushes, grasses. We have diversified nutrients, diversified plant species. Everything is there in the atmosphere or biosphere. Right now, the responsibility of the learned generation, learned people like you and me, is to arrange or manage it systematically. Systematic management or scientific management of the available resource is need of the hour. So we have good technology like crop rotation, legumes do wonder in improving the soil fertility, and they fix the atmospheric nitrogen in the soil. They sequester the carbon both below ground and above ground, which influences the better soil structure formation, better soil biodiversity in terms of microbes. See, there is a well defined association between human, plant, and microorganism. Of course, human, animal, plant, and microorganism, which is sequestrating the carbon. So we have to do the sequestration, but just tuning up the environmental issues with available natural resources. We have indicators for balancing the soil, human, and microbes relationship. Very good indicators are there. We should follow the indicators like aggregate stability, soil structure, soil pH, activity of earthworm, activity of microorganism, CN ratio, crop residue management, root system, root respiration, and soil respiration. These are the very good important indicators we have to observe for maintaining soil health. We have so many approaches for soil health management. Some important approaches that you and me know are INM, soil test based blanket application of fertilizer, information technology, ICTs, bio-waste management, soil and water conservation. We have a big question before us. Where to get tons of organic manures? Actually, organic manures we need not to buy. We have to produce. We have to make way, make spot for production of organic manure. Don't burn the crop residues. Please give awareness among the farmers. Don't burn the organic or crop waste. Reduce the chemical fertilizers. Reduce the chemical fertilizers. Increase the use of biofertilizers. ಏನಣ್ಣ ಲೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ದು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ. ಮಂಜು ಕೊಡು ಬನಪುರ. ಸಾರಿ, biofertilizers. See, one thing, we are using organic manures in tons together, 4 tons, 5 tons. Coming to chemical fertilizers, we are using chemical fertilizers in kg, 50 kg, 100 kg. But coming to biofertilizer, biofertilizers are recommended in terms of grams, 100 gram, 150 gram, 200 gram, maximum 1 kg. If you are going for seed treatment, just use 100 to 150 gram of this any biofertilizer for seed treatment. If you are going for seedling dip, go for 400 grams. If you are applying it as a broadcasting, you go for 1 kg, mix it with 50 to 100 kg of vermicompost or any other compost, FIM, just go and broadcast. See, the fun is, impact is huge in use of less quantity of, very minimum quantity of fertilizer, biofertilizer. Impact is less in bulk use of organic manures and chemical fertilizers. Even though biofertilizers, they are applied in small quantity, the difference with respect to yield and soil fertility is huge. Here I have listed some important biofertilizers. Usually phosphatic fertilizers, biofertilizers yet to come. Of course, now it is mid of the hour, but the popular, widely adopted, used biofertilizers are nitrogen and phosphate. Nitrogen fixer and phosphate solubilizer or mobilizer. Fixers, we have symbiotic rhizobium, associated azospirillum, non-symbiotic azotobacter and BPA. Whereas phosphate solubilizer, symbiotic Glumos, Gigaspora, VAM, reticular and arbuscular mycorrhiza. Non-symbiotic Bacillus, Pseudomonas, Aspergillus species. These are widely adopted, used and benefited microorganisms. So this is the final model for integration of bulky organic manures, chemical fertilizers and biofertilizers. So we have big question for addition of 5 tons, 10 tons organic manure. For that, we have answer here: green manure and crop protection. Green manure, of course, they are just alternative, not it can replace the performance of organic manure, but it gives solution. Green manures and crop protection. See, the balancing act of organic manures and inorganic fertilizers, best in improving soil fertility and also productivity. Because one component is one input, important input is fertilizer, but the other input is plant, which we are not using our local genotypes. We are using hybrid. Hence, we have to take care of both fertility and productivity issues. This can be better tackled by mixing the organic and inorganic for the best benefit of fertility and productivity. So for that, we have a Prime Minister flagship program almost taken off during 2015 when it was declared as the Year of Soils. Then we have very good awareness in soil testing, and approaches are made for distribution of soil health cards. It is one of the biggest and most successful program from the Ministry of Agriculture, Government of India. We have very good records of farmers and farmer field with respect to its survey number, size, geosite, and availability of our source of irrigation. So we have results of all physical, chemical parameters, even including micronutrients and organic carbon status, preferably. This helps in following the LMH. LMH means low, medium, and high rated soil fertility grade. We have very good blanket recommendation with the soil health card. It fulfills the need of site-specific nutrient management by indication of crop needs with respect to NPK. We are giving it based on the soil test values, and we are also using indigenous nutrient supply through farmland menus and with local genotypes. This is one more important tool, LCC, which is having 6 bags, where these 3 are very light and these 3 are very dark in green color. Based on the nutrient match, if it is below 4, we are recommending nitrogen on the spot in terms of urea or ammonium sulfate. This is one more important tool, StatMeter time domain. If DNA is the thread for human life, nitrogen is the bread for plant life. Based on that concept, we are using this LCC, PAD, and Green Seeker is one more real-time device for nitrogen application based on vegetative index, NDVI. Very good tool for site-specific nutrient management. Some other tools are there in a broader sense for various other technology, not only related to agriculture, in field of industry and commerce and other important institutions. This holds good when it comes to site-specific. See, I have developed a fertility map This is one example. So such maps or nutrient index maps can be generated and applied to district or taluk blockwise to create awareness regarding the nutrient information or nutrient status of that particular site. So this is one more important tool. We are adopted already performing well known as precision farming for sustainability, quality and productivity factor. Precision farming, the advancement goes with conservation of land, soil and maintaining the plant diversity. This is very good relationship between soil, animal, crop and manure. This interrelationship carries us towards healthy plants and healthy ecosystem. So human and animal relationship, you might have heard herding. Very good interrelationship we have between soil, plant, animals, even with microorganisms. For that, we have developed a very good concept called as integrated farming system. Marginal and small farmers, they have adopted and enjoying the fruit of this model. It is made of the hour, of course. Almost I am giving a final touch for soil health and human health with ecosystem balance. Of course, there is imbalance in our modern life ecosystem. So this carries all the drawbacks of intensive farming, modern agriculture, industrialization, urbanization, modernization. Answer for this thing is integrated farming system, which performs well based on the principle and practices, where we consider the output of one component becomes input for another component, where the journey never ends up. There is a dynamic equilibrium. There is a fruitful circle in the module, what they decide and what they carry with their available natural resources. So it works on more than 10 components, and even it works with 3 to 4 components also. Livestock is the best example, dairy is the best example component which fetches daily income to the farmer. Apart from that, we can also include poultry, fishery, forestry, silviculture, horticulture, whatnot. It is not only soil conservation or land conservation, but it is totally energy conservation, eco-friendly. It keeps up the biodiversity of the nature. If nature thrives, we thrive. If nature destroys, absolutely we will destroy. So the learned people say the nation which destroys soil destroys itself. So we have to conserve the soil. We should conserve the water, whether it is groundwater or surface water, no matter. We have to conserve soil and water for future generation and for better ecosystem. So there is one more part, bioremediation, which helps in correcting the deficiency or accumulation of toxic elements of the ecosystem. So one more thing is smart agriculture, where we adopt GPS and remote sensing for preserving the data, processing the data, and finalizing the data for betterment of the future. So there is scope in near future for smart agriculture based on ICT tools. The ICT tools definitely rule the agriculture in near future for betterment of both human life as well as soil life. So apart from agriculture, this also take care of disaster, financial and insurance risk, food security, nutrition security, and also environmental security also. So this is a broader group which taking part in the reserved life of agriculture. Of course, it makes tremendous changes in the field of agriculture. But our concern is, and our concern should be towards conservation of land, soil, water resources, and we should give importance in maintaining our soil, physical, chemical, and biological balance with management of soil organic carbon, with crop residues, use efficiency of fertilizers, and balanced application of nutrients to reduce the contamination. Priorities are many, but my priorities goes like this. We have to develop a sustainable package for soil health management with soil organic carbon map and soil organic carbon sequestration. Reduce soil loss, nutrient loss. Prepare best module which includes soil, physical, chemical, biological constraints with good organic and biofertilizer. Create public awareness. Approach demand-driven program for water management. Finally, I conclude this entire session with small saying like human health is most important, that we already experienced in 2020. Human health is nothing but physical and mental health. Physical fitness and mental health. For that, we totally depend on food. Food is the essential nutrient or nutrition for human health, which comes from soil health. So for that plant production, which is balancing act of air, water and temperature. Air, water and temperature. Finally, 5 natural resources: soil, sun, water, air, has to be taken care or balanced for our perpetuation and our health and next generation health also depends on these 5 natural resources. Thank you, one and all, for patience hearing me. Keep soil alive, protect soil biodiversity for better crops, sustainable production through good science. Thank you, sir. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you for this lovely presentation, sir. If there are few questions, why? Because we have already gone over our time, allotted time. If there are few questions, you may ask, but we'll take only few. Why? Because we've already gone over our allotted amount of time. Thank you. If there are any questions, please ask.
Most welcome, sir. You can ask questions, sir.
Yeah, if there are any questions, please ask, because otherwise we would say consider the session to be concluded. Are there any questions? Yeah, there's a question in chat. How to do soil sampling for carbon footprint?
Wow, very nice question. It is the need of the hour. So soil sampling is generally for nutrients is quartering technique. In order to safeguard the humus in the soil organic carbon fraction, especially for carbon footprint, we have to take care of the moisture along with soil, and fresh soil sample for carbon fractionation is to be taken care. It's very important that we have to take care. That again, we have session reserved for that, footprinting and carbon sequestration. In near future, in further presentation, you are going to learn about all those things. Thank you. Good question.
Thank you for this question, and thank you for the answer, sir. On behalf of the students, participants, on behalf of the organizing committee, and on behalf of all the parties involved, thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for being with us. It was a pleasure for us to have you in this session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, and thank you all organizers and post directors. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for providing this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Participants may join the second session in the afternoon. Link will be shared in the WhatsApp group again and on their emails again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.